Hello everyone, my name is Kirill and today we continue to speak about philosophy of freedom of Russian philosopher Nikolai Berdyaev. Freedom, according to Berdyaev, is inevitably connected with tragedy. Human history begins with the act of freedom. And human history is tragical fundamentally. It is a tragedy as well as human existence. And the tragedy of being and of human existence in this history comes from freedom. And that is why freedom cannot be easy and cannot give man happiness in its ordinary sense, a happiness of this world. Authentic, true freedom is incompatible with understanding of it in ordinary, primitive liberalism. So it is another radical statement of Berdyaev that freedom is a burden. Freedom is a heavy burden. And freedom is not easy absolutely. And finding of freedom entails not relief in its ordinary sense, but taking up the heavy burden. Heavy, but noblest and best possible burden. That is why the burden of freedom implies suffering. Freedom is connected with suffering essentially. Freedom generates suffering, and gaining of freedom is carried out through suffering. In turn, it is rejection of freedom that leads to reduction of suffering. So freedom is ruthless. And still, person is called to defend its freedom, to realize it and to gain more freedom. It is an absolute vocation of person. Potentially, everyone is on the way of this vocation, but only the minority finds their sacrificial courage to decide to follow this vocation. That is why freedom is aristocratic and not democratic. And this is another radical statement of Berdyaev. Freedom is not democratic, but it is aristocratic. And freedom is incompatible with equality and equalization. On the contrary, mass equality implies unfreedom. There is only an external illusion of freedom. But authentic, metaphysical freedom exalts those few who bear the heavy burden of freedom. And this radical statement of Berdyaev is quite shocking and unpleasant for modern liberalism. But the idea that freedom exalts some unique person does not imply enslavement of the rest. Free people, on the contrary, wish liberation to another persons. Aristocracy of freedom does not mean that other people should be slaves. Aristocrat of freedom, if we may say so, can't stand slavery and wants the human race to get rid of it.